All right, hello and welcome everyone to tonight's race here at Green White Checker TV. We have the Area 51 Racing League Superspeedway Cup Series tonight here at Talladega. It's going to be 75 laps scheduled distance for the race. So drivers make their qualifying laps. You can see pull up our point standings as they run up here. So right now, it's kind of a two-man show. Kevin Freeze, Gabe Butler. We've seen Gabe slowly but surely kind of closing that gap in on that number 25 machine. But again, you can see though Kevin so far every race has been in the top 5. So he's consistency and really strong runs definitely playing a part in his point standings success that he's got going on right here. Raymond Rittenauer in third, 30 points out of the lead, and then you've got Eric Laurie in fourth, Matt Quick in fifth, and 6th through 10th you've got Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Dean Wilkinson, Kevin Hash, and Corey Lane. So this is actually going to be the last race of the calendar year. Obviously season 6 won't be ending tonight, but we're going to have a bit of a break between the Christmas and New Year's holidays. So we'll be back again, I believe, on January 5th. I want to say it's going to be with the Indy Series, and that's about where we'll start things back off again to finish up the season 6 throughout the rest of the way there. So I'll say definitely hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll say make sure to catch that now just in case when we get caught up in the racing. But yeah, so I hope everybody's doing well. Again, want to thank you all for being part of this for the broadcast with the league. I say it definitely means a lot. It's a lot of fun to be a part of. So I'm really definitely appreciative of everything with all the support and everything that I get from the drivers and the viewers and everything. It's a lot of fun to be a part of. So again, one of the big things here for these races is the bonus points. So pole sitter will get 1 bonus point. Also, there is a bonus point for the driver that gains the most spots during the race. Of course, leading the most laps, and the last one of which being the drivers that do not have any incident points. I believe get two bonus points. So those points definitely go a long ways for these drivers. So qualifying is just about completed. So we'll see who's going to shake out where. Let's go ahead and pull our start. Gotcha. Signing. Restart. All right, so our pole sitter for this evening's race is going to be the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer with a 50.553 over Gabe Butler, 50.560. So only 0.07 of a second between the two of them, and say that's going to be, I wouldn't say costly, but I'll say that that Gabe would have liked to get that pole, get that bonus point in that number 1 machine. However, it's going to go to his teammate in the 87. In 30, you got Everett Lane, our points leader, going into tonight. Kevin Freeze in the 4th position. You got Eric Laurie in 5th, Todd Merkel 6th, Matt Quick in 7th, Kevin Hash is in 8th. 9th through 16th here, you got Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson, Jack Walls, Paul Fletcher, Will Eastman, Joe McAdory, Bud Steele, and Michael Spell. And the remainder of the grid here in 17th, Corey Lane, Brendan Pasalacqua, Jude Conrad, Thomas Holder, Nicholas Winnock, Brian Pierce, and Ted Decker Jr. So just waiting for the remainder of the field to get gridded up here, and then we'll get things rolling in just a moment. Again, scheduled distance is going to be 75 laps. Also, again, reduced fuel. Say they actually dropped the fuel a little bit during the season, so it's going to be a 3-stop race. They cannot make it, especially here. Well, I shouldn't say they cannot, because we've seen it done. But most likely we'll see 3 stops in the race tonight. I'm going to say kind of different strategies, how you want to pull those strategies off. So we'll have to wait and see what that plan is going to be for the drivers here this evening. I'll say they're about to get rolling here. But yeah, so say that's definitely, I think, going to be what we're going to see though tonight. Is going to be that it's going to be the 3-stop strategy. We'll just see when these drivers decide to make their pit stops and kind of who tries to copy which strategies and things of that nature. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that for sure. And then, of course, if any cautions fall, we'll see how those shake out as well. But the big thing as well for here, though, is going to be the field mileage, and then, of course, the one faster pair that you have available. And then, so say they definitely want to save that as they need to. Actually, looks like we have a couple drivers that either are not on track and might be starting for the pits, or may have actually jumped out before the server or the practice and qualifying and such started. So right now, actually showing 21 cars on track right now, not showing the 8 of Dude Conrad or the 79 of Ted Decker Jr. So right now we'll have 21 cars taking the grid for the race this evening. We'll keep an eye to see if they pop up by chance a little bit during the race, but yeah. So right now that's going to be our group that we have up front. So we'll see they're going to come through the trioval here, and then we'll get things underway again. I'll say we'll just see what the strategy is going to be. Obviously Talladega, a wider track, so there is a lot more opportunity for the 3 wide moves. Especially without drivers now not really needing to save fuel, that might ramp up some aggression here to try to have drivers kind of mix it up a little bit more. But again, those green flag pit stops going to be crucial for driver success here tonight. All right, as they come through the trial here, they have to wait till the green flag flies for this initial start. And once that flag does fly, you'll see Raymond Rittenauer and Gabe Butler get on the gas here, and we will get things going here at Talladega as the green flag does fly. And we are underway. 75 laps again is the scheduled distance. As Raymond Rittenauer, Gabe Butler lead the way entering turn number 1. Saw Todd Merkel there wasting no time getting to the inside line again, and especially on the initial start, the bottom line is going to be where you want to be. However, you can see on the top side, you're going to have some pretty strong drivers hooked up already to the top, including, of course, that number 1 of Gabe Butler. He's got his championship competitor pretty much right now behind him, the 25 of Kevin Freese. And you see coming up a little bit further back there, Kevin Hash is on his way along with Charles Johnson. But right now, though, that 24 of Everett Lane is trying to stay locked on to the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer here on the bottom side as we are about to complete the first lap. And that was close for that first lap. I'm not sure. I want to say I think Raymond Rittenauer had the lead at the line. But that big push, though, from Kevin Freese really got him right up into that mix. So if Kevin can keep doing what he's doing here, he might be able to get that 1 of Gabe Butler to the lead here, or at least get a lap led, because right now they are definitely pushing strong on this top side. As they come across the line, I think the 1 of Gabe Butler just had the nose ahead that time around. So that's definitely going to be a break for the 1 car getting that lap led here early on. So that's obviously kind of one of the first check boxes that he wants to make now, after not quite making the pole position there. So now we'll see what the strategy is going to be for some of these drivers. As again, you're going to see a lot of mixed strategy, I think, up here with a lot of these guys up front. Some are just going to be cruising, trying to save fuel. Others might want to start pushing a little bit, try to get that track position early on. But I'd say right now you can see that everybody's pretty much content here running that 2x2, which I say at this point in the race I think is definitely the right call for a lot of these drivers here early on. But yeah, so right now everybody's holding pretty solid right now. And again, not a lot of movement going on so far early in this run. One of our bigger movers is that number 9 of Charles Johnson. Obviously a little bit of bias. I'll try to see if we can catch it kind of where we can here on track. But that number 9 machine is running an ugly sweater paint scheme. I was able to He was asking me to get something set up for him on that car, so try to see what I could do and say, so that's what we came up with. So it's got some ugly sweater graphics on the sides and the back of the car, and yeah, just try to do something fun for over the Christmas and New Year's season. So that's what you're seeing on the back of that number 9 machine here. So also another one running a Christmas theme paint scheme is that number 6 of Bud Steele. So you can see on the side of that car, so you've got a little bit of some Christmas, I think some snowflakes on the side, if I'm not mistaken there. Let's say a little less obnoxious than what I was able to put together for Charles there. So it was kind of fun seeing a couple guys running some holiday themed games. And while we're showing all that stuff off, though, that 25 Kevin Freeze able to push the 1 of Gabe Butler to the lead in front of the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. But now he's got Kevin Hash trying to push him up to the front. Again, right now these are the top 2 in the points. So right now that front row inside-outside line are our 2 championship competitors here. I believe this is also race number 7 of 12. So we've crossed the halfway point of the season. So I'll say every point's going to definitely be critical for these drivers here. We're at the line. Looks like Kevin Freeze, yeah, looks like he's just going to grab the lead there as well. So I'm going to get a lap lead in that number 25 machine as well. So right now, bonus points pretty much even between that 1 and the 25 so far here early on. Looking back from the 1 of Gabe Butler to Raymond Rittenauer in that number 87 machine. As you can see, everybody pretty much running 2x2. See that 23 Brandon Pasalaco a little further back on the top side. However, he was off on his own here. Say might just be trying to maybe even trying to work his way a little bit to the back. Say him and his teammate, the 78 of Nicholas Winnock. I'm sure we'll see them kind of tag them together at some point during the race. Right now you see that 23 up on the top side here to the outside of Michael Spell in the 88 machine. Let's mention his teammate though, that 78 Nicholas Winnock. Right now he is right there in the 21st position right now, the last car on this lead lap, in this lead pack as well. But again, I think he's just pretty much in cruise control here, just kind of keep himself in a safe place and just wait and bide his time until it's really time to go. And as I say that, time to go, so you see Charles Johnson, he jumps to the top here. He's going to put it 3-wide. He's got Dean Wilkinson behind him in that 55 car. So we'll see if he can get any momentum going. But what is going to happen with that move, though, is I think that's going to slow that middle lane down a little bit, which might let Gabe Butler sneak just a little bit ahead from that 25 of Kevin Freeze. And say while that happens, they see drivers trying to fill those gaps. They see Michael Spell. It looked like Michael's going to stay in the middle there, but he actually jumps to the top with that 55 and the number 9. So that, they got those 3 now up by the top side. I do see one coming up on the middle, and I believe that is Paul Fletcher in that number 4 Busch Light car. So he's going to get up to the middle here behind the 03 of Kevin Hash. So right now we've got pretty much 3x3 for about from the 3rd row on back here for the moment. Again, we'll just have to see how this momentum shakes out. But I say this, as I mentioned, Talladega has the option and the ability to run 3 wide here. And I say these drivers definitely taking advantage of it here early on. So far, not a lot of momentum happening on that top side. You can see, I mean, again, Charles is doing what he can in that number 9 car, but you see, though, that inside line, though, Raymond Rittenauer just really locked on, pretty much just inch perfect, really, with himself and that number 1 of Gabe Butler. And saying that's really what it takes. Always you see a little bit of contact between the 88 and the 55 there. We'll go back and take a look at it. Looks like everybody's going to hold even there. So let's go see what happened between the 2 of them, because that's going to hurt both of those drivers pretty severely. Looks like the 55 may have got the worst end of it there. So as we watch here as they come through 3 and 4. Oh, the 55 was pushing for too long. He blew the motor. That's what happened to the 55 Dean Wilkinson. So you'll probably see him. Yeah, he's going to dug off here into the pit. So he popped the motor, and the 55 car got too hot. So that's what happened to him. So he's going to use a faster pair here. He'll be able to get back out on track here. You see Michael Spell trying to see if he can hold on to the tail end of the draft. That's going to be really close for where he is on track right now. So trying to look at the interval between himself and that car in front. It's about, I think, 8-9 tenths of a second, but he's going to need some help, I think, to be able to try to tag back onto this group here. So, yeah, definitely a bad break for those in UK. Yeah, you can see he's definitely losing the draft here, unfortunately, in that 88 machine. So he's going to need a little bit of help to try to get back into the thick of things here. With all that going on, you can see that that 3-wide attempt has gone back to 2x2 here. You see they're going to come up on that 55 of Dean Wilkinson. So this is kind of a tricky spot for Dean here. So he's still getting up to speed. So usually if you're lap down, you want to run the top side, but at the same time you don't really want to you don't want to cut across the track in front of the driver. So you can see he actually backs off, just runs the apron, which could be a benefit here for the 88 of Michael Spell. Because now at least these two can kind of hook back up together. But actually, as I say that, Michael Spell, he's going to hit the pits in that number 88 car. So that car not up to speed that he was hoping for. So this is going to be, let's say, they kind of gonna have to go off strategy a little bit here. The one thing they do have going for them is this would be one of the 3 pit stops that should put them in the window to make it to the end. So they could pit, basically pit here and then run the fuel a little bit longer, make 2 more stops, and they'd be good to go. But again, they would, at this point, they need a little bit of break here to try to have those cautions fall where they need to. And unfortunately for that 55 of Dean Wilkinson, he's fallen off the back of that draft here. So now it's going to be up to that 88 of Michael Spell to get a good pit stop and get back out on track here and not lose the draft once he does get back up to full speed. However, with everything going on now, though, that second line's really started to form again now. Kevin Freeze, Kevin Hash on the top side, trying to get the momentum going up on the 1 and the 87. Say Michael Spell looks like getting pretty much up to speed, about to enter turn 3, just a little bit ahead of the leaders here. You can't quite see him there in the foreground there, but you're going to see him as they come through the turn here. They're starting to slowly catch him, but what he has been able to do, though, is he's been able to jump to the top side, so now he'll be able to try to drop in behind the leaders as they get up to him, as you'd see him here getting up to speed. He'll be able to try to just drop back in line behind the leaders and see if he can just kind of minimize the time lost here. However, you see Kevin Freeze, Kevin Hash, they are making some time on that top side. They've also got that help from Paul Fletcher, that third car, that Busch Light machine. And you got Charles Johnson right there as well. And I believe that is the 22 of Joe McAdory. Haven't mentioned him yet. I think relatively new to the league, but doing a really good job here early on in that 22 machine. You'll see him right there in I think it's the 5th car in that top line there. So he's definitely trying to keep himself in contention here. As I mentioned, for the 88 of Michael Spell, looks like he's going to be able to tag onto this lead draft here. So that's exactly what he was looking for here. So what he's going to be doing now is just he's going to try to tag on to anybody in everybody's draft as the pit stop cycles start to come up. And probably about, I'd say about 8-9 laps most likely, we'll start seeing the first sets of green flag pit stops. Some might pit a little earlier if they maybe try to split the strategy kind of evenly. So that's also a strategy as well. So there's kind of 3 approaches where you can maybe run the first 2 as long as possible, run the third one as short of a possible pit stop that you can, of course, or you can try to divide the 75 by 3 and kind of do even pit stops. There's definitely some strategies that you can pull with these cars with, where you also want to kind of think about how many gallons is one can of fuel, because if you have to put that second can of fuel in, that's going to lengthen the pit stop with that swap of cans. Whereas if you can just take one full can of fuel, you're going to be in a pretty good spot to be able to make a quicker pit stop. So that's some of the things that these guys definitely practice and definitely try to figure out what's their best strategies going forward. Right now, not too much has changed. To say one of the bigger movers so far is that 55 of the 4 machine of Paul Fletcher, from 12th to 6th. So I say he's been making pretty good moves here early on. I say again, just being in the kind of trying to get the right line at the right time, and that's really the way to do it. And of course, we got a lot of these teammates here up front right now. I think for sure the top 4, I believe the 24 of Everett Lane is also part of that group. I actually see Eric Lori in the 071 as well. So you can see they've got a lot of their teams all right up into this group here, and I said they've made no like there's no secrets or anything about them. I mean, they've mentioned like, hey, if you want to try to work with us, it's like just hop on over to our Discord and we'll like it's not like a secret club or anything like that. Say they're always willing to try to help other drivers out, so it's pretty cool to see. I'm saying it's probably a good opportunity to have as well, because you can just see just how strong these drivers are when they do work together really well. Right now we still have 19 cars on the lead lap. Michael Spalding, Wilkinson 20th and 21st, both 1 lap down. However, Michael able to hold on to the draft in that 88 machine, so he's going to be again in a slightly better position than that 55 car, as he has lost the draft here. Unfortunately, I'd say he's about a full half a lap down at this point in the game. He's running about almost 3 seconds a lap slower, just due to the speed difference with the draft versus no draft. So he's going to need, unfortunately, a break from a caution to get himself back into contention. But say right now, again, still not too far. Again, probably about 5 or so laps away from our first green flag pit stops. So that's going to be really the critical moment for these drivers, is to make sure they kind of hit their pit road entry, hit the exits, hit their pit stalls as well. So I'm one of those ones I'm usually either way too easy on the entry and too shallow and have to move up a little bit, or overshoot my pit stop and have to get back into reverse. So that's one of the things these guys definitely practice and really have kind of put to perfection, is getting that timing down on that braking points, getting into the pit speed limit at the entry, and then of course getting down to their pit stall and hitting their marks and getting stopped right on the spot that they need to be at. So while things are running like they are, so I don't want to ignore some of our other drivers. I know there's plenty of people that want to see some other drivers. So we'll jump back. We'll kind of go from the back forward here. So right now, the Brian Pearson, the number 57 car, showing in the 19th position. So again, I think he's just kind of cruising right now as things run, just kind of biding his time. We'll let the pit stop cycles happen. I think that's going to be his strategy here early on. And I'm saying, again, if I was in that same boat, I'd probably be doing the exact same thing as that number 57 car. In front of him is Corey Lane. Say Corey also right now just kind of in cruise control here. See, also both these drivers here started towards the late, like kind of further teens in the field. So kind of just, I think, again, just kind of cruising the back and just take it easy here. It's been pretty much their plan from the get-go. In front of them is Bud Steele in the 6 car. Bud from 15th starting position right now, running 17th. And say one thing you do want to mention here is you saw some of those drivers up in that front group. They've got to the bottom here. You see Kevin Hash, Kevin Freeze, they both were able to sneak in between Everett Lane and the 071 of Eric Lori. You also see Charles Johnson, he's to the inside line, and you see some drivers starting to move to the top like Matt Quick. So I think this is going to be the first set of pit stops here, and you see a lot of jockeying for position right now behind them. Drivers trying to make sure they're in the right place at the right time. So I think we're going to see some drivers duck off here. Nope, they're going to go one more, it looks like. So it was looking like it was about the time for pit stop, so I think they're just trying to get organized ahead of time there, but I suspect we're going to see our lead pack here be pitting very shortly. In front of Bud Steele is the 120 of Will Eastman. Will had a really solid run last week with, let's say, he was running that same pit strategy as that group in front of him with Gabe Butler, Raymond Rittenauer and company, so he was able to nail his pit stops, hit his pit stalls and everything like that, and just did everything right that race and was in a really good position as well coming to the end of that race as well. So he's going to be looking for a little bit more of that tonight. Also in front of him, the 00 of Thomas Holder. As you can see, again, a little bit of bobbles. I think the driver's starting, kind of the anticipation starting to ramp up a little bit here. So we'll take a look, and yep, here they come. We got a big group of cars hitting the pits here early on. So now it's all about just getting down to speed, and hopefully everybody's able to get down all the way. looked pretty aggressive from a couple drivers, so we'll have to keep an eye on their pit stops and see if they got through cleanly or not. However, what that's going to do, though, is that's going to cycle the lead over now to the 89 of Matt Quick. He's got Charles Johnson behind him. I didn't mention Jack Walls in the 83 Pennzoil machine. Jack's now in this group as well, just trying to push here. I think, again, trying to make as much time as you can in that kind of the in-lap, out-lap speed is where you really want to make things happen. But you can see up on the top side, Brandon Pastelacqua, he's got his teammate Nicholas Nook behind him. However, they're trying to squeeze in here to make their pit stop cycle, it looks like. And this is what Michael Spell is trying to figure out, is he needs to stay out here. He can't pit with these guys, I don't think, at least. And so, well, yeah, what he's going to do here is he's going to tag onto the back of that 89 of Matt Quick. And, of course, what he would have liked to do is he would have liked to be a little closer to that number 89 car here to be able to kind of push that draft just that little more aggressively as they kind of continue the pit stop cycle here. And pit stop times actually looks like nobody got penalized there, so it looks like everybody was able to get down to speed well, so that hats off to the drivers there. We'll see on the pit stop cycle. Yet looks like Gabe Butler, he's been able to hold on to the lead. However, you can see they're spread out a little bit right now. You've got the 24 car Everett Lane, he's right behind him. Kevin Hash right there as well. And actually, one driver I'm not seeing. Oh no, there he is. I was looking for the 25 Kevin Freeze. He's right behind them with the 81 of Todd Merkel. But actually, the one that I haven't found yet is the 87. There he is, 87 Raymond Rittenauer. Raymond didn't, I don't think, have the entry exit he was looking for. As now the 89 of Matt Quick, he's going to be the last of the leaders to make their pit stop. And I said, this is kind of where Matt's been kind of able to make his time here. Gets really aggressive entries, has no stress about those cars around him. So he's going to hit the pits here. As you see, as he comes in, he's going to have a car coming out right in front of him. Looks like he hits his marks well, though. He's going to take left side tires on that car, fill it up. And then he's going to drop down and get away and just try to make sure he can get up to speed before the leaders get back to him. But I say it's going to be tight here. He's going to have a little bit of help, though. He's going to have the 22, so that could be a benefit here. So we'll wait and see, because I say he's just getting up to speed now along with that 22 of Joe McAdory. But I say if we look from behind, here come the leaders. And yeah, this may not be enough for Matt Quick to kind of tag onto these leaders. So I don't think this plan is going to go very well for him. However, we'll kind of keep an eye and see, because he might be able to try to get some draft action here and kind of shove his way forward. But he's going to definitely have to be aggressive, though, here at this point. Alright, so with that first set of pit stops done, that's going to put the lead still back into the hands of Gabe Butler. But now, right behind him, you've got the 24 of Everett Lane. Kevin Hash, Kevin Freeze, and Todd Merkel up now into the top 5. But as I say that, though, you can see, though, they're starting to kind of dice around here again, trying to figure out who's going to use the momentum and take it where. So we're going to see, now you see the 24 car probably was getting hot, so he's going to jump to the top. But as he does that, though, the 55 machine, he does not want to wait. And actually, it's actually having Dean Wilkinson. He's actually a lap down here. That's right, I forgot. Yeah, I somehow completely blanked on that. So right now, actually, Dean Wilkinson is the first car, one lap down. The 22, Joe McAdory, he is also one down at the moment. I'm saying Joe had a 55-second pit stop, so I'm thinking that was probably a pit speeding penalty. Probably a 15-second pit stop plus the 40-second stop and hold. So that's what put that 22 car down a lap, I have a feeling. So you can see, though, they have a pretty good group together here. And they're going to get a little bit larger as well. You can see Matt Quick, he's pushing that 22 up to the 120 here of Will Eastman. So I was saying, actually, Will's going to stay on the inside. They're going to go around the top here. Those 4-car group's going to turn into 5 once they kind of add him to the mix right now. And then I say then they might be able to try to see if they could possibly also grab. Actually, no, I think, yeah, they might be able to pick up Bud Steele. Bud's kind of in a dangerous position here in that number 6 car, just off the edge of this draft. But you can see, actually, he's picked up the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, so they're going to try to tandem their way back up into this draft as well. So right now, I'd say the advantage is going to, on the point side of things right now, for the moment, it's going to that number 1 of Gabe Butler, as he's been able to be out front and kind of control this race here. It's going to really allow him to kind of lead the most laps at this point in the race. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. You see Bud Steele has been able to get back to the lead pack with that help from Dean Wilkinson. So a great work between the two of them to get hooked back up here. And I'm saying they're not too far away. They're going to pick up Paul Fletcher here. Say Paul, unfortunately, also a lap down at the moment. So you can see him in that number 4 Busch Light machine. So he's going to run the top side, kind of like you saw Michael Spell do. He's going to run the top side, and then once they get up to him, he's going to try to kind of just slide down just a little bit, pick up that draft to make sure he doesn't lose their toe before they get too far away. So I think once you see that 00 Thomas Holder get by, yeah, here he goes. He's going to slide right over there, start picking up the draft, and say immediately that car is going to start picking up 5-10 miles an hour. Just again, just how powerful the draft is with these cars. So the next thing we're going to look at is speeds here, because I want to check to see who. I think it's Nicholas Winook right now leading that second, or the lead pack. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it's the 22 now, still of Joe McAdory. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to compare the speeds of the number 1 and the number 22. So last time by, the number 1 Gabe Butler ran at 47.873. Joe McAdory in the 22. Let me find him here. He ran a 47.961, so only about a tenth or two. Actually, yeah, just under a tenth of a second off. With as small of a group as they have right now, that's actually pretty respectable. So they're gonna have to stay on the aggressive here, because again, so you can see just how big this pack is right now. And say this time it's a 47.795 for Gabe Butler in the number 1 car. So we'll jump back to that 120, and it's a 47.824. So actually near identical times between the two of them. So again, that 5-car draft in the back there is definitely working strong here. They need to stay kind of just stay organized and just stay diligent in doing what they're doing. Of course, the only issue is that sometimes that pusher car is going to start getting hot at some point. And actually, I'm looking at the ticker now. I think they're starting to shuffle around a little bit here. And I think, yeah, you see Corey Lane. I think Corey Lane's now taking over the pushing duties. So you'll probably see this time slow down just a little bit here due to the swap that they had to do. And that's going to be the issue with that, as well as just having to move around like they are. And yeah, sure enough, they're the 22 ran a 48.248 to the 47.845 of Gabe Butler. So they lost about 4/10 just by having to swap cars, because then they're just trying to push as hard as possible here. So this is where strategy is going to come in for some of those guys as well. I'll say right now. So basically, Corey Lane, Will Eastman, Nicholas Winook, and Matt Quick. Those guys are all kind of in that spot they don't want to be in. About 4 seconds, almost 5 off the lead here. Again, though, still 2 more pit stops to go through the end of the race right now. So say obviously a caution would definitely help them. But the other thing they do have going for them, especially Matt Quick, is the fact that he pitted last all these drivers, so he's got about 2 laps to the good on fuel than these guys up front. So if he can maybe take just a little bit less fuel on one of the pit stops, that might be enough to offset some of the gap if he can get a really nice entry exit, and that might let him grab onto the toe of that draft depending on how good of an entry exit the leaders have. But again, we've got probably at least another 10 laps, I would say, before we get to that point of the race, as right now we're on lap number 22, about to start 33. As you see the 55, he's got to hit the pits here in Dean Wilkinson. So again, he had to pit early due to that blowing the motor early on in the race. So a 55 machine, he's going to make his green flag pit stop, which means probably Michael Spell not too far behind as well in the 88 car. But I'll say right now, Michael does have some help with him in that 88 machine. So he is working with the 57 of Brian Pierce. But again, like I said, Michael probably not too far away from having to duck off onto pit road. So I would say probably either next time or one after that for that number 88 machine. Alright, so right now Everett Lane running the top side. He's got help from Jack Walls in the 83 Pennzoil car. So Jack trying to see if he can get him, get the 24 to the front, and then maybe help himself as well, try to get himself towards that front as well. Say Jack's a really good pusher at these tracks here. Say also haven't mentioned yet that 81 of Todd Merkel. Say Todd holding strong right now in this lead pack as well. Right now cruising in the 7th spot. So he's got Eric Laurie right behind him, and then just to the corner on the outside, I mentioned that the 00 a little earlier. That is Thomas Holder right now running right around the 8th, 9th position. Just depends on where they are on track at the moment. And of course, Raymond Rittenauer, our pole sitter, he's still in this lead pack because they didn't have the pit stop he wanted. Because you can see he's kind of fallen to the back of this lead group. But again, still obviously in contention. Raymond's definitely one you never want to count out as well. So you can see here comes that 55 of Dean Wilkinson there. He's going to get back into this lead pack here. So unfortunately, it's going to put him 2 laps down now, just again due to the pit stop cycles where things are. However, he'll be able to at least get back into this draft here, and it's going to help his cause a little bit. Say Michael Spell, he's just completed his pit stop. He's getting back on track right now. And so let's jump over to that second group again. And say still has the 22 here of Joe McIntyre. He's still running that group, and saying again, when they stay lined up like they are right now, say they are running near identical times of the leaders in the 47.8s. So I mean, they're making really good time when they are locked in like they are. The problem is though, every so often they're going to have to swap because they're having to draft so much more aggressively since there's just so fewer cars in this group than this lead pack. But again, though, you look where Corey Lane is in that number 10 car. It's still holding right about 5 seconds, though. They've been doing a really good job of drafting together, just trying to minimize the damage here again. Because I say this at this point, they need to try to stay in touch and just hope for maybe a good set of pit stops for those drivers to try to close that gap on this lead pack. Because I mean, I suspect we're going to see a good chunk of these drivers again. They're probably going to try to pit all together as much as they can. Probably maybe a one lap difference or so, I think, might be the only thing we see. Oh, just saw that that 4 car caught the apron a little bit there. You can see he's kind of had to wash up to top, but it looks like he hung onto it. So that's going to be a break for him not to have a moment there in front of the 6 of Bud Steele. However, Bud's going to again have to try to hustle a little bit to make sure he gets back up into this draft here. But again, he's got Dean Wilkinson behind him, and we've seen those two draft extremely well together. So I think Bud's probably feeling pretty confident with that 55 behind him here. So I think we probably must have seen a swap on pushers, because I see the 22 Joe McIntyre ran a 48.240 that last time by in the 22 car. So we'll take a look, and yep, you can see they are starting to cycle through again. Now you got the 120 Will Eastman pushing that 22 machine. And I say that's kind of what you're going to see here. You're going to kind of see that leapfrog approach, where you're going to have one driver push as long as he can. He gets hot, he'll probably move out of the way. The next car line start pushing him. And say it's just, and saying if you're that 22 car, this is stressful for you, because you're having to try to hit perfect marks here, not move your car too much, and that car behind you is just going to try to shove for all they're worth, basically. And saying it took them, unfortunately, it looks like another lap or so to get kind of settled in a little bit, because again they ran another 48.3 there for the 22 car. So unfortunately, just those couple laps, they've gone from that 5-second gap that I was talking about now to 6 seconds. So yeah, just not going as well as they wanted to. I mean, they're still doing a really solid job to only be losing what they've lost so far. But it's just it's not easy. I say this is definitely a tough one to do, especially when you're also drafting with drivers that you may not race with or tandem with very frequently as well. Just crossed the halfway point in the race, so we've got 37 to go here. So again, I say pit stops probably due in about 5 more laps, I would say, roughly, for the leaders. We'll see what the strategy is going to be for some of those other guys. But I say I think some of these drivers they're going to have to kind of do what those around them do, because you do not want to be pitting by yourself here. Because I mean, I think that's what really burned Matt Quick, was he just wasn't. He had too big of a gap over Michael Spell, who was staying out as well, and just it did not pan out for them, unfortunately. And that might be where the strategy comes in here, where like I mentioned, these drivers probably going to take a longer pit stop here to make sure that they can then take a short one at the very end. So maybe if you're Matt Quick or someone like that, maybe you pit early, or you don't pit early, you maybe short fill a little bit, try to save a little bit of fuel, maybe try to get that magic 1 can number so you don't have to kind of plug that second can in, and then just have a slightly longer third pit stop just to give yourself a chance here to kind of have a shorter pit stop here to regain this group. But I don't know if there's a short enough pit stop to gain 6 seconds. on that. So it would take a lot to, I think, gain that kind of momentum back on these leaders. But again, it's really just dependent here on the pit entry of these guys, of this lead pack, and then of course how well the second group enters the pits as well. But again, like I mentioned, the bonus points, I say battles right now leading the way of the number 1 of Gabe Butler. I believe at this point he's probably pretty close to clinching the most laps led in this race here, as he's pretty much led this entire second run here. Obviously, so his main competition is going to be that 25 of Kevin Freese. We know they've both led a lap, but I think at this point that most laps led is probably going the direction of that one, which would close that points differential by them, with everything else being equal, just by the 1 point. Obviously pending the results of the race here, and I believe it was a 6-point differential between the two of them entering the race. So I say at this point you could almost say it's basically a 5-point difference between the two, pending of course how the rest of this race goes, if there's any incidents that they get involved with, and of course where they wind up finishing the race itself. Coming up on the 57 of Brian Pierce. Brian's only 1 lap down, so this would actually drop him to 2 down. So what he's going to be wanting to do is he's going to be in competition here with, I believe, Paul Fletcher. That would be the number 4 machine. Right now, those two drivers are going to be the only cars in this lead pack that are 1 lap down. So should a caution come out, those are going to be the two that are going to be trying to fight to be that one in front of each other. So looks like we're going to have potentially, we'll see if the 57 can keep the draft here. It could wind up being a Busch Light versus Budweiser battle here for that lucky dog position as things run. Alright, next couple of laps, I suspect we're going to see some drivers start trying to find their way to the bottom. You'll probably see the 24 Everett Lane try to find his way in. But again, though, the options are going to be limited. And again, some of these drivers aren't going to want to back off to give him a spot. And of course, the other danger is it's one on the competition side of things, but also just on the risk side of things. I mean, if you're the 1 or the 03 or the 25, if you back off too much, I mean, you're at risk of getting run over by that car behind you. Because again, these guys are running pretty much a solid 200 miles an hour through this the whole track here. Just to lose a little bit of speed just due to the kind of the G-forces of the cars through the turns. But yeah, so that's definitely going to be something that these drivers have to keep an eye on. So the second group's been fighting hard, but it's not going to plan from that. As I say, here comes this first set of pit stops. And you can see it looks like about 6 of them here hitting the pits. Now again, just got to make sure everybody gets in here, doesn't get any contact with each other. And so far looks clean. So that's going to open up here now for Everett Lane to take over the lead. And this is going to be the opportunity I was mentioning for that second group here to try to see what they can do. So you can see actually everything's shuffled out a bunch right now. You see, I think the 78 Nicholas Winook, he decided to pit there early. Whereas these other 4 here now, so you can see the 22, he's no longer leading the way. Now it's gone to that 120 of Will Eastman. I say he's got Corey Lane and then Matt Quick right behind them. So they're going to try to see what they can do here to try to capitalize on their pit stops here. So now we'll jump back to our leaders, because I'd say again you'll probably see them reacting. Yep, here they come. So slightly bigger group, looks like about 8 cars in this one. And it looks like a couple drivers getting pretty high. You see Charles Johnson get a little loose there in the entry, but I think he got it down to speed. No spin, so that's a good start. That's also a good sign for everybody. Looking at the first group, it looks like everybody's already back out of the pits, so no pit penalties there. So now let's just see. And again, looks like that number 1 of Gabe Butler. These 3 are starting to try to sneak away through the cycle. So great job by Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, Kevin Hash here. They're going to try to do a little bit of a breakaway, while Todd Merkel almost was able to log on with them, but he's going to have some help not too far away in the form of Raymond Rittenauer and Eric Laurie here. And so right now, actually, lead is showing now as that number 10 of Corey Lane, along with Matt Quick, and it looks like, yep, here they come to hit the pits as well. I was thinking Matt might want to try to go one more, but you see Corey really hustling it in there, so trying to get everything he can. That's pretty much exactly what you're going to have to do here. So we're going to keep an eye on him and see how his pit stop goes as well. But yeah, definitely things are starting to spread out a little bit through this pit stop cycle here. See, the 10 of Corey Lane had a really good pit stop there. He may have short filled a little bit as well in that 10 car. As you can see, leaders are going to go by here, but his goal is going to be to try to see if he can get up to speed as quick as possible. And see if he can tag on to one of these groups here. I think that's probably his best chance, but unfortunately you can see he's trying to get up to speed, but I just don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately, for him. He had a really good pit entry, pit exit. Just isn't going to be enough, unfortunately, in that number 10 car. I'm trying to see where he had a 7.67 pit stop, so I think he actually did exactly what we talked about. Try to pull that strategy, but you can see it's just not going to pan out for him because he's on kind of in no man's land here, kind of off between a rock and a hard place, just himself right now. So it was a really great attempt by Corey to try to do what he did, just isn't going to pan out this time. And so now you've got these top three trying to see if they can fight their way. And basically draft really aggressively with each other to try to get away from that group behind them, which is saying they're starting to run 2x2 here. But it's a pretty big group there with Brandon Pasalacqua on the inside line. You can get the 24 Everett Lane on the outside line. And so looking at lap times, and yeah, that second group was about 2 to 3 tenths quicker than those top three by themselves up front. And so I'm not sure what happened to Todd Merkel because he was in a pretty good spot there, but let's say he's kind of got left behind here. I don't think he's going to be able to tag back onto this group either. Let's say that's going to really hurt him as well. So he's going to see maybe he can get a little bit of a break and get a little bit of a tow from somebody. But I think he's just too far off of Charles Johnson to pick up that draft he needs because that lead pack's also going to be getting a huge draft off of that top three right now. As you can see, that strategy, they have been able to get back up to the leaders here. So, say Brandon Pasalacqua, he's going to be the first to jump to the top. But again, I say he's going to have a lot of competition underneath him because I say you got a lot of teammates locked on here. So you've got the 1 to 25, the 03, the 87, the 071. Say they've all got hooked up here on the inside line. So say they're doing exactly what they want to do, controlling this race as we see them do pretty much week in and week out here. You see the 9 of Charles Johnson. He tried to jump to the outside of the 23, but just doesn't have the momentum he needs. But right now it's kind of left Brandon here in kind of no man's land, unfortunately, in that 23 machine as they go through the trial. He's kind of stuck in the middle there. Just doesn't have the help he needs. And it looks like Charles also going to kind of fall back in line here. So I think drivers are going to start kind of settle back in again here, knowing they still got one more pit stop to go to the end. And say that pit window actually probably not too far away from opening. I say they can probably pit within about 3 more laps or so to feel comfortable. Maybe 5 if you really want to feel really confident, where they can make it to the end. So that's going to be the next question, is to see when is going to be that pit strategy. Are these drivers going to maybe try to pit early and try to shake off the group behind them? Because I say they're in a really good spot here with their teammates all lined up 1 through 5 here, 1 through 6 actually here. 1 through 5 on that inside line, so they can duck in whenever they are ready, and they know they're in their window. And then as long as they can hit their marks well, it'll be a short fill for sure. Say it'll definitely be less than a can of fuel, and that's when they can try to make something happen. and kind of just see if they can use their drafting abilities to kind of separate themselves from the rest of the field here in this final run. So unfortunately, Todd Merkel, like I mentioned, he was not quite able to hold on to that draft, so he's about 10 seconds back already. He's going to have some friends here in a little while, say in the forms of Nicholas Winook will be the first one that's going to catch him. You can see they got about 6 cars, it looks like, in this draft, so picking him up will add 7. But again, these guys they're going to need some help. Let's say you can see that pit stop cycle did not do them any favors. They're holding solid about 7 seconds off the lead. It's fallen down to now about 14 seconds. So just they weren't able to kind of get lined up as well as they were hoping for, unfortunately for them. Nice, the 00 Thomas Holder. He's getting a good push here from Everett Lane. Thomas is going to try to see if he can kind of put his hat in the ring here, try to battle up front here, see if he can kind of challenge for, get to the front here, maybe control this race for a little while. Again, he's going to have some tough competition on that inside with those teammates lined up. And again, though, like I mentioned, the one Gabe Butler, he's still the first one out of the pits there. So he's been leading all these laps. So I'm going to say pretty much confidently now that number 1 Gabe Butler going to lock up most laps led. So he's going to gain that point over the 25 of Kevin Freeze. So that'll close that gap at the moment as things run just a little bit more. Again, though, we still got one more pit stop. Then that'll obviously always has a chance of changing the way everything could wind up in this race. And of course, just with the race itself, Talladega is always kind of a wild card one with just the pit stops itself. And then, of course, once you get that final stop, kind of all gloves off, and drivers are going to go for everything they can once they know they've got the numbers to make it to the end. Is working there, so he's got to the outside of that number 1 of Gabe Butler, just needs a little bit more hairspray. Again, Everett Lane's been having to work really hard, so he's got to be careful not to overheat that 24 car. You can see he's actually staggered off to the side a little bit, probably trying to get a little bit of air in there. Now you can see he's staggered off to the left side. So these guys, this is something I actually never learned until I started racing with them. So you actually, if you stagger one way, you're going to cool off the water temperatures. Stagger the other way, you're going to cool off the oil temperatures. So just having clean air isn't enough. You got to make sure you have the clean air on the correct sides to kind of cool off the appropriate part of the car as well. So if it's your oil that's getting hot first, you want to kind of move to the side for the oil, and then of course the water for the other one. So something interesting that I've learned. So I unfortunately don't know which is which, so that would be something that would be worth learning for sure. But that's just the things these drivers have learned through this series, and just how seriously they take it, and just how much they just have figured out to maximize their abilities and their attempts to try to have these good races like they've been doing. Alright, so we're at 20 to go here. Next time by it's going to be 19 to go. So now my question is going to be, is anybody going to jump early? And as I said, here they come kind of on cue even. And so you can see they brought a few more with them as well. So now it's going to be all about getting down to pit speed and not speeding. See a little bit of a lockup on a couple of cars, but everybody's going to hit the pits here. So you can see right now a big group of cars. Let's see. About 10 it looks like. Gabe Butler, Kevin Freeze, Kevin Hash, Raymond Rittenauer, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, Charles Johnson, Jack Walls, and Brendan Pasalacqua all hitting the pits here. They're going to take their final set. Looks like of left side tires, just enough fuel to make it to the end. They're going to drop down and away. Now it's going to be all about who gets the best exit out of the pits. And you see Bud Steele there gets a huge pit stop there in that number 6 car. He's going to cycle out with this lead of these drivers that have pitted here. So great stop by that number 6 crew here. So I think we're going to see, I don't think these guys can wait to react, and sure enough, yep, here they come. So Thomas Holder, he's going to hit the pits there. He's got the 24 of Everett Lane with him as well. Also Paul Fletcher, Michael Spell, Brian Pierce. Drivers a lap down, but going to make their pit strategy here now as well. And as I said that, we have a caution while during the pit stop cycle. Looks like the 78 of Nicholas Winook. This is going to be a break that a lot of drivers are hoping to see here. So this is going to let a lot of people catch right back up to the field here during this pit stop cycle. And it's also going to allow those drivers that just made that pit stop right now under the green flag conditions, they should be able to cycle back through at the lead here. Take a look, see what happened here. You see Matt Quick behind the 78. You see Matt just gets underneath to the inside the left, the left rear quarter, and just catches the left rear quarter panel of that 78 of Nicholas Wilk. That's going to send him around. But looks like as a whole, I was going to say not too kind of harmless, if you will. But you can see Matt took a little bit of a shot there from the 10 as well of Corey Lane. But I think for Nicholas Winook there, though, I think he mostly just went for a little spin. So I don't think I saw too much damage to that car. Yeah, it looks like just pretty much just a solid slide. However, he's been able to get back up to speed. Still on the lead lap as well. So again, like I said, this is going to help a lot of drivers here. Because right now I'm actually showing the 120 of Will Eastman at the moment as your race leader. I'm waiting for everything to cycle through and get updated here, because say when these cautions come out in the middle of the cycles, it really messes things up, unfortunately. So I'm trying to see, because I see a lot of cars here actually behind the pace car, so I think there's going to be a little bit of a mix-up here with who's supposed to be where. However, say drivers, of course, going to start making their pit stops here that needed to make those stops. I believe a few drivers might be able to take advantage and get some wave rounds here. I'm jumping back to the 120 car. I think they may have gone a little bit too far, so I think they're backing it back down right now. So yeah, so a lot of mixed strategy that's going on here at the moment. One thing that's not going to be mixed strategy, those drivers, Corey Lane, Nicholas Winook, as well as Matt Quick, they're going to go ahead and pit here. I'm sure get some damage fixed if they had some contact. See, Matt might as well just take the 4 tires at this point in the race under a caution flag. So yeah, I'm waiting to see where everything's going to cycle through. I think it's going to be possibly Everett Lane that's going to be officially the leader here. As you see the 22 of Joe McAdory, I believe he's getting his lap back. And yeah, what happened was the 120 and the 81, they passed the pace car when they were supposed to back it down there. So they were showing way ahead of the leaders here, so that's why you see them stopped here waiting for the pace car. And then what's going to happen is once the pace car gets to them, that's when they'll start rolling again. However, you see where they are here. They're pretty much near the entry of the pit lane right off of turn number 4. Here's the pace car in the middle of the backstretch, so they're going to be waiting a little while. So the other thing is the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. I believe he's going to be able to get the wave around here, and I think he's going to be back onto the lead lap here. Let's say right now it's showing him a lap down, but I think that's just because he hasn't passed those 2 cars in front of him. Just depends on where they are in relation to everything. Say this could get a little jumbled here in this restart, but what's going to happen though, I mean, this is kind of going to be a tale, I think, of 2 races where he had that long green flag run, a lot of strategies. The field spread out during the pit stop cycles, but now I believe every driver is going to be pretty much good to go on fuel, I think, at this point once the 120 and the 81 pit. So from here on out, though, I think it's going to be pretty much just no holds barred and try to get what you can here. There they go. They're starting rolling here. Try to get merged back in with the field wherever they're supposed to line up, but don't know if it's going to be with the pace car, if it's going to be behind the 55. What I do know is these drivers are going to need, I believe, to make a pit stop, so I think they're going to want to try to pit here if they can. And yeah, here they come. They are going to duck in. So again, I mentioned that number 55 of Paul Fletcher. This should give him the wave around on the 1 to go here, which I believe they're going to get this time. I want to see if Dean Wilkinson actually cycles from being 1 down to on the tail end or not. So waiting to see for that 55 car, as we do get the 1 to go. So we'll see the 55. Yep, he is down and away. So I'm still showing as 1. We'll let everything update. I'm not 100% sure if he's on the lead lap or still 1 down or not. However, I'm going to say we're going to have a big change here up in the front, though. So now you got Everett Lane up on the front row with Thomas Holder. You mentioned Bud Steele, that awesome pit stop he had. He's going to restart here in 3rd. Then you kind of got the usual suspects, if you will. Gabe Butler, Raymond Rittenauer, Kevin Freeze. They're all right up there in that 4th, 5th, 6th positions here on this restart. And again, a really big break for some of these drivers as well that were out of that draft today. That's going to be a huge break, like we mentioned, for that 120 of Will Eastman. For Matt Quick in the 89 machine, I say it's a big break for him. The 10 of Corey Lane, the 78 Nicholas Winook. A lot of drivers there that were trapped off of that lead pack here. They're going to be right back into the mix here. So pretty much everybody's just about caught back up here. I'm showing on my end, I see 17 cars on the lead lap. Last one on the lead lap is going to be the 81 of Todd Merkel. And then Paul Fletcher in the number 4 machine. I'm showing him as 1 lap down, as well as the 55 of Dean Wilkinson still is 1 lap down. So I believe it's going to be between the 2 of them if there's another caution. They're the first cars 1 lap down. Brian Pierce and Michael Spell are both 2 down. So if something was to happen to those drivers in front of them, they would get the opportunity to get that wave around. All right, with all that cleared up, or not cleared up, say pace car is about to duck off. We're going to restart here with 15 to go. Again, everybody's good to go on fuel, so there's no more fuel strategies. At this point, it's going to be foot to the floor. I'll say again, there is the potential, of course, of the 3 green-white checkered attempts. That could definitely come into play here. As again, I think we're going to see a lot more aggression, probably some 3-white action as well. But right now, Everett Lane, he has the option to drop the hammer whenever he is ready. And right now he's still waiting to go. I think he might be waiting for the green flag. And yep, there he is, down and away. And so he's going to, again, you don't want to get too big of a lead here at Talladega, because otherwise that second group is just going to gang up on you and pretty much just blow on by. So his hope here is he's going to get locked on to the 6 of Bud Steele on the inside line and try to see if he can make something happen there. But right now Gabe Butler, he's going to try to see if he can push that 00 of Thomas Holder to the front. And then I have a feeling he'll try to see if he can sneak to the outside and kind of continue his charge and get back to the lead as well in that number 1 machine. All right, cars are back up to speed here. Oh, as you see, it looks like Tom Merkley, he's going to have to make a green flag pit stop in the 81. May have gotten a pit penalty, I think, for when he made that pit stop, unfortunately. I think he probably showed him probably as entering a closed pit, so that might be what's happened to the 81. So probably a pit penalty for him, unfortunately. I'll try to keep an eye on things for him here. However, up front, though, I was going to say Everett Lane still hold on to that lead, but here comes the outside line with a big head of steam with that big push. But as I say that, though, you see Bud Steele, he gets locked onto the 24 down the back, and you can see how the momentum kind of shifted there, and that 6 car is able to kind of minimize the momentum of that 00 and the 1. So Everett Lane's still able to hold on to the lead here off of turn number 4 over Thomas Holder. Actually, I see also the 120 Will Eastman. I see him ducking off into the pits as well. So, yeah, I think unfortunately pit penalties for both the 81 and the 120 just went too far around there during that caution flag cycle, and so they wound up, when they pitted there, was actually unfortunately during a closed pit stop. So that's unfortunate. I'll say you hate when those things happen. It's nothing intentional. It's just honest mistakes. But unfortunately, it's just sometimes things go your way, sometimes they wind up biting you, and unfortunately in this case it wound up biting the 81 and the 120 machines. So everybody, again, right now everybody's still holding pretty calm here, running 2x2. Everett Lane's still doing a great job holding the inside line with the help from the 6 of Bud Steele. Again, these drivers are going to have to be careful, though, not to draft too aggressively, not to get that motor too hot. We saw it happen already to one driver where that motor got too hot and popped. So say they're going to try to avoid having that happen again. So I'm waiting to see what the strategy is going to be, who's going to make the move and win. So I think eventually we're definitely going to see someone move up to that third line. But right now, though, again, Gabe Butler trying to do what he can to get that 00 of Thomas Holder to the front. But Bud Steele is doing everything he can to keep that 24 in the front there. Just trying to push him as much as he can right now. As you look on from the back of Everett Lane here, you can see Charles Johnson right behind, Bud Steele right behind him. But again, just at the corner there, right to the left of the ticker, you can see that 00 of Thomas Holder. Say gains a little bit through the straights, but then down the turns, I'll say this is again shorter distance. The inside line is going to prevail here. But then you'll see coming off the outside line though, off the exit, you see the big run here. You can see the number 1 of Matt Quick just shoving that 00 here, and so he won't quite be able to clear. Gets to about the door of that number 24 car, but then you can see again the inside line just starts to push one more time here. And so right now I'll say it's just kind of a chess match of who gets the momentum win and who's able to make that push happen. But as I say though, Bud Steele, he's able to clear that 24 over lane. He's going to jump to the top. He's going to try to use that momentum here, and he's going to clear that number 24. So move that number 6 of Bud Steele to the front here as we have 10 laps to go. You see Bud, he decided not to jump to the bottom of that number 24 machine, so now the inside line's got some more momentum here. So that could open the door now for someone else to try to jump to the top. So we'll keep an eye on Raymond Rittenauer here. Does he jump to the top once he clears that number 6 of Bud Steele, or is he pretty much going to be committed to that 24 as things run? And of course the next question is going to be, at some point somebody in that middle lane, they're going to bite, they're going to jump to the top. You see the 83 of Jack Walls, he tried, nobody went with him there unfortunately. And as soon as I say that though, you see the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer, he does jump to the top. The 10 of Corey Lane, he had to go to the apron to avoid contact. So say everybody's getting pretty split up here. So say this is where momentum could really shift here. I say right now it went into the favor of Raymond Rittenauer. He's gotten to the lead. As you can see, the 1 and the 25 of Gabe Butler and Kevin Freese, they're jumping to the outside line, make that 3-wide move happen. But now we got a lot of movement going on here. So they saw the 24. He tried to jump to the middle. Bud Steele now showing in the middle in the 6 machine. So everybody's jumping around everywhere here. So again, that, like I mentioned, the aggression is picking up. However, Kevin Freese and Gabe Butler, they make that tandem on the outside work. They clear the middle lane. Now they get lined up on that middle groove here. Say the number 1 of Gabe Butler, he has the option. He might still be able to jump in front of the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. But I think right now he's going to try to stay in front of that 25 of Kevin Freese, because you can see that momentum is right now very strong in this middle groove of this track here as we have 8 laps to go in this race. Alright, so right now Raymond Rittenauer still leading the way on the inside. He's got help from Everett Lane. On the outside, you got Gabe Butler and Kevin Freese. On the outside line, I believe I see Brandon Pasalacqua and the 89 of Matt Quick. Again, right now, the inside and middle lines are definitely where the strength is here at the moment. That top line just doesn't have enough cars in it, I think, to have that momentum forward. But these guys, again, just giving it everything they have here. And so you can see just a lot of aggressive drafting, a lot of pushing. Again, though, they got to be careful. They can't push too much too long. So they will get too hot. As you see, Kevin Hash, he just gets the inside there. Oh, contact between himself and I believe that was the number 4 machine. Somehow they both keep it straight, though. You see Kevin Hash, so he's trying to get himself into this battle now. He's gotten to that middle lane outside of to the outside of the 10 of Corey Lane. So now move Kevin Hash up to about the 8th position here, possibly the 9th position, as they're coming up on the 120 here of Will Eastman. I'm assuming we'll see Will probably jump to the top in that 120 car. But yeah, I say business definitely picking up here as we are with 7 laps to go, 6 to go at the line. As you can see, also the outside line of Gabe Butler, he is starting to get that just a little bit of momentum here on the exit with that help from the 25 of Kevin Freese. So he's got to fight his teammate though on that inside line of Raymond Rittenauer as they come through the tri-oval here. And it looks like this time by the lap is going to go to the 1 here at the line, but not quite enough to clear the 87 as of yet. And I don't know if, even if he does clear that number 87, I don't know if he wants to go to the bottom. I think this middle line is where you want to be here at the moment. I knew someone was going to want to get to the top eventually. It's like Jack Walls, he's going to be the next taker. Looks like for the moment he's thinking about trying to get to the top, but I think he's got to wait for that momentum to build before he can really make that top line happen. You saw the number 9 of Charles Johnson. He really wanted to try to go with him, but the push wasn't there yet. They didn't have the momentum to jump to the top as of yet. But we're going to be coming around here, 5 laps to go. Again, scheduled distance of 75 laps, so there is the potential of 3 green-white checkered finishes if that comes into play. And with the aggression we got going on here, it definitely is a potential. But right now, you can see the outside line, though, they started to get that push, and they were able to clear. I think both of them actually have cleared the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. Wait and see if they stay in line or if they're going to drop to the bottom. Right now, again, they're just going to hold the middle. You see, there they go. They get to the bottom there. I saw Kevin jump to the inside a little bit. Wasn't sure if he was going to try to get underneath the number 1 car, but Gabe Butler gets to the inside as well there. So now that middle line is going to be led by the 6 of Bud Steele. He's got help from the 03. Oh, as I said, I was going to say he had help from the 03 of Kevin Hash, but Kevin gets to the bottom side. Raymond Rittenauer, he's got momentum. He's going to jump to the top in front of Bud Steele. He's going to try to lead this middle groove here, see if he can get himself back to the front. All right, 4 more to go here at Talladega. So now, again, he's still got Gabe Butler, Kevin Freeze running 1-2 now on the inside line. But Raymond Rittenauer, he went from the inside. He's jumped in front to the top side. He's got help again from that number 6 of Bud Steele. Bud's got the 24 of Everett Lane right behind him. And they are pushing here. They're trying to see if they can get back to the front. And saying that's really what's going to take here is you're going to have to pretty much lock bumpers of that car. Push as long as you can before you start to get hot. And then just try to see how you can get a little bit of air to the car without getting it too hot. And then, of course, try to time that last push at the right place at the right time to make it to the finish before you overheat that motor. Because, I'll say, if we get to that white flag, say at that point, I think we're going to see all bets are off. As here comes Everett Lane. He's going to jump to the top. He's got Thomas Holder with him. He's going to try to make that top line happen. Oh, you see one spinning to the infield there. Couldn't quite catch the car. I think it was the 22. Joe McAdory, he's going to hang on to it there. So we stay green. Great save by that 22 machine. We'll get back to the lead pack here because we are 3 wide here down the backstretch. So you see the 24 car to the outside. Oh, Bud Steele, he popped the motor. I saw a little bit of a puff of smoke. We have a lot of cars involved here. See the 24, the 6. I think I saw the 83. Oh, we got a big one there. See Matt Quick, he's stuck up on the fence. Charles Johnson in there. Kevin Freeze is in there. Say one of our championship contenders. So we're going to take a look because we have a lot of cars involved in this one. It's going to be easier to figure out who wasn't in it, honestly, than was. Because I think up front, Raymond Rittenauer, Gabe Butler, and Thomas Holder, looks like they're going to get away with it. And this is going to put us into our first green-white checkered attempt here at Talladega. But let's go back and see because that was a wild one there. So I think that 6 car just got, from what I saw, I thought I saw a little puff of smoke from the 6. And then from there, it kind of just all popped off. So we'll do is we'll actually watch from the back of the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer here. We'll get up to speed here. So we'll slow down just a moment. But you can see the 6 of Bud Steele here. He's just locked right on. But you can see that as soon as you can see he loses the pace. There goes the motor. He tries again to the middle to avoid try to get out of the way. But unfortunately, say just contact between them, and you can see here. Looks like about just 3 cars find a way through this one. You see everybody else there pretty much getting caught up in this one. Actually, see Corey Lane with an awesome move there. Corey's able to sneak through. I think Brandon Passalacqua also able to get by. Oh, no, but as I say, he gets caught from behind there. Oh, you see Matt Quick, he's going into the air. Like I mentioned, gets stuck up into the catch fence, into the pit wall there. It looks like, though, the 10 of Corey Lane's able to hang on to his car. So let's go back. I'll say we'll take a couple more angles here and see exactly where, kind of try to see if we can catch who all was in this one. So again, say at this point it's pretty much everybody. But let's go back and take one more look here. We're going to go up top from the chopper here. So again, we'll watch the 6. You see the 6. He blows the motor. He tries to get out of the way. Just again, everybody's just so bunched up with each other. There's just not much you can do here. So you can see the 03, the 83, the 6, the 24. And so you see the 071. He gets a little bit of contact as well. Then we drop back to Kevin Freeze here in the 25 machine. And that's where they start picking up some more cars there. Like we mentioned the 10. Oh, the 89 there. Matt Quick, again, just going for a violent ride there. So not giving us a great angle here, but again, you can see a few more cars. You see Eric Laurie. I say Matt almost cleared the catch fence there. You see Brandon Passalacqua was in this as well. There's Charles Johnson. There's Will Eastman. You see Brandon as well with that motor damage to his machine. Looks like, I think I see the 55. Yeah, 55 of Dean Wilkinson. He's got his motor damage. I think Todd Merkel may have gotten through pretty cleanly. We saw Eric Laurie. He had a moment as well. So say a lot of drivers, though, caught up in this one here. So say one of the questions is going to be who gets their lap back. I think we mentioned Todd Merkel not getting caught up in that one. I think that 81 car did get a lap back. I see him making his way around. So he's back down to just 1 lap down in that number 81 machine. So basically, I would say those that got away with it, and we can tell by basically they didn't make a pit stop, is going to be Raymond Rittenauer, Gabe Butler, Thomas Holder, Corey Lane, and Joe McAdory. Those 5 here stayed out under this caution. Brandon Pasalaco on the 23 on back, they went ahead and pitted. Actually, I'm sorry, Everett Lane on back, they went ahead and pitted there. So say there's going to be a lot of faster pairs that were taken advantage of on that one. So right now I'm showing 11 cars on the lead lap. Still a few cars in the pits. I think some had to take a tow. So we'll try to get everything cycled through here. But again, this will be our first attempt of a green-white checkered finish. Should they get to the white flag, they'll race back to the line. However, should a caution come out before then, they will line up and they will do it up to 2 more times. And on the third attempt, if there is a caution before the white flag flies, that's how the results will be scored at the finish. So, yeah, so say a lot that's going to happen here. I think we're going to get the 1 to go here. Yep, 1 to go. Lights are off. So, again, we're going to split up the team a little bit here. You see Raymond on the inside, Thomas Holder to the bottom side behind the 87 car, and then you got Corey Lane to the outside. And then right now you see on the third row you've got Joe McAdory, Everett Lane. And then in the fourth row you've got Eric Laurie and Kevin Fries. We have a lot of cars actually 1 lap down. Paul Fletcher, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele, Matt Quick are all 1 down. Michael Spell, Will Eastman, Brian Pierce are 2 down. And unfortunately, I see Jack Wells, Nicholas Winnock, and Dean Wilkinson still in the pits. Their nights probably are over at this point in the race. To say they might still just trying to get some repairs done, see if they can at least salvage something here. However, though, like I said, though, it's going to now be pretty much, again, this is going to be a shootout here. One thing they have to be careful about is tire spin. I'll say they are on slightly older tires here, for at least for the top 5 that did not pit under that yellow. A lot of them probably took 2 tires during that last green flag pit stop, if not fuel only. So that's going to definitely be something they're going to have to keep in mind, is just kind of be careful on the throttle application. And the other thing that we could see here, like I mentioned, the 87 and the 1, they are teammates. If they time, because again, they're in the same Discord channel, so basically they can talk to each other where the other drivers who are their competition can't hear them. Raymond can say, all right, I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, go. The one and the 87, they can go pretty much right at the same time. They get locked on together, and then they can try to work together to basically have the win between the 2 of them. Or they can just kind of do a normal restart here. So we're going to wait and see. Definitely could be some strategy in play here. So we'll watch Raymond Rittenauer here as they are through the trial here. Pace car is off. So I say right now they're still holding steady, haven't gone yet. Looks like they might be waiting for that green flag to fly. And green flag is out and they are down and away. And yeah, it looks like that's going to be pretty much just who gets the better push here on this restart. So right now, Raymond Rittenauer, again, he's going to have the inside line to get things going. That's going to be advantage to him. However, though, Gabe Butler and the 1, he's got a lot of help behind him, and they're pretty locked on well together here. You see the 10 of Corey Lane, he's pretty much latched on already. You saw 24 Everett Lane, he's there as well. It's like wasting no time, though, is that 25 of Kevin Fries. He's going to jump to the third line. He's got Eric Laurie, he's got Kevin Hash. But right now, though, you see that 1 car, Gabe Butler, he got to the inside. He was able to clear the 87 Raymond Rittenauer. So now it's going to be pretty much I think, a tandem finish to the end here. I don't think you're going to see anybody leave the bumpers of the car in front of them if they can get away with it. So we'll see. We're going to try to see if we can get to the white flag. If we do, we'll race this one out. And it looks like we're going to be in for a treat for a 3-wide finish to the end. And we get the white flag here. So this is the final lap of the race. So right now on the inside line, you've got Gabe Butler. On the outside line, you've got Corey Lane. Corey's got Everett Lane pushing him. I don't think any relation there. On the very outside, though, you got Kevin Fries with Eric Laurie there. So right now, pretty much 3x3 from second row on back. Up front, though, it's going to be between the 1 and the 10 as things run here at the moment, but I would not put it past that 071 getting that 25 to the front here. So we'll wait and see as they come out of turn number 4 what they're able to do. Right now, again, advantage looks like it's going to the one of Gabe Butler. He's getting a good push from Raymond Rittenauer here through the tri-oval. So we'll wait and see as they come across the line here to get the finish line. At the line, just the nose. Looks like Gabe Butler going to get the win here. So we'll wait for the timing and scoring to update. Yeah, Gabe Butler getting the win there over Corey Lane in second. Raymond Rittenauer pushing Gabe to the win. He's going to get third. Everett Lane in fourth. Kevin Freese still going to find a way to finish up in the 5th position, so great recovery for him. I guess that last lap of the race there, Todd Merkel, so even though the lap down, he's going to pull the fastest lap of the race in that number 81 machine with a 46.736 there. So yeah, wild finish there at the end, but at the end, it's going to be the one of Gabe Butler getting the win. Say thanks to some really good drafting by his teammate there of Raymond Rittenauer. So we'll take one, but we'll go back here. Let's take another look at that finish. Let's see. Let's watch that as they come across line. See what we were able to catch here. So you can see they're all staggered out 3 by 3, but you can see just how many cars are lined up on the inside line. That's going to always be hard to compete against. So say as we watch here. And you see again, everybody's giving each other, like, if you wanted to, like Corey Lane could have really pinched that one car more to the inside if he wanted to. He definitely gave him some room, just to, I think, avoid any contact, any caution at the end, or any contact at the end, I should say. But at the line, though, it says I pause it too late. Let's go back here. Yeah, I see about a half a car length or so. For the number 1 machine of Gabe Butler over the 10 of Corey Lane. You see Raymond Rittenauer there, and then 24 of Everett Lane over the 25 of Kevin Freese, and then pretty much a dead heat there between Joe McAdory and Eric Laurie there for the for the 6th position there at the end. All right, with that, we got to pull up some drivers. Let's get some interviews. So we'll start with our 3rd place finisher, which will be the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. All right, so let's go ahead and pull Ray in here. We will have a word with him to get started off here. So I'll say, so Raymond, obviously kind of a tale of 2 races there. You guys kind of pulled your strategy to perfection again with the green flag pit stops and getting in and out quickly. And then, of course, that caution kind of pretty much right after the last set of pit stops kind of just changed the whole complexion of the race. And then, let's say, obviously a really good fight there at the end until the 6 had his motor pop. And say, obviously, unfortunately, I would say kind of a huge one there at the end before the last restart. But what I was wondering was there any thoughts for you and for Gabe to maybe try to go a little early and then hook up together? Or did you feel like it was going to be in your guys' best interest to just kind of do a normal restart, go on green, and then just try to get the help from those guys behind you?
Yeah, originally I was going to go early, but I kind of was caught sleeping there, so it kind of screwed up the restart. But luckily he was able to get out in front, and I was able to get him to win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't an easy one there.
It wasn't easy at all.
I say, was that kind of the game plan? If you got out in front of Gabe on the restart, or vice versa, just that was going to be kind of okay. I'm gonna lock onto that guy, and he's going to be the one to basically I'm going to be lined up with him and not move off his bumper that last lap or 2.
Originally, he thought that he was going to be able to get in behind me because Thomas had a little bit of damage on the front, but like I said again, I was sleeping on the restart a little bit and didn't work out that way, but luckily it worked out in the end there where he got in front.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so you guys were able to still get hooked up at the end, I say, and obviously a lot of competition there. Everybody kind of jumping everywhere to, I say, when in those short restarts, I say everybody's going to obviously get everything they can there at the end. Was there anything for you? I mean, obviously, like I said, kind of a tale of 2 races. Was there anything that really stood out for you on this one, like for the first part of the run with the pit stop strategy and all that? So it seemed like you definitely had a lot more drivers that made sure that they kind of pitted with you guys this time. versus maybe trying to go on their own cycle. I don't know if that was something you guys noticed in your team as well.
Yeah, we did kind of notice that because it was pretty crowded trying to get into pit lane there a few times. A couple of times I slid through my pit box, which didn't help, but I caught onto the tail end of the pack and
Yeah.
got a 3.
Yeah, I mean, I say still, like you said, a really good result. You're able to obviously get the pole, so get the bonus point for there. I say it's obviously going to be kind of tough sledding to catch those guys in front of you with the 25 and the one. I say they've been solid all season long here. I say it actually looks like Kevin's going to continue a streak of top fives in all of his races with that 5th tonight as well. But yeah, as I say, obviously, I say one thing. I say we do have a nice little break now coming up for Christmas and New Year's, so you guys get to relax a little bit and maybe try to figure out some new strategies during the off season. But then, yeah, I say any thoughts on the break that you got going on here, and of course, also of course want to give you opportunity any thanks shouts you'd like to give.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna enjoy the break a little bit. I might be like to thank my sponsor, Lucky Dogs, and all the boot knockers. Like congratulate Gabe on the win there, and you guys for doing a heck of a job broadcasting.
I definitely appreciate it. Like I say, yeah, week in, week out, so your team is definitely the one to beat. So this is probably one of the closest chances the other guys had, but again, you guys were able to hook up together and make that draft happen and hold on to lead for your team again. So again, yeah, great job, Raymond. Good result for you tonight with that 3rd, and look forward to catching you here after the break.
All right, thanks, man.
I was going to pull up our 2nd place finisher of Corey Lane. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing him on Discord. So I'll keep an eye out, see in case he pops back in here. So what we will do then for now is we'll jump over to our race winner here, that number 1 of Gabe Butler. It's a shame. It would have been nice to interview Corey, because again had an awesome run, getting that 2nd place finish. It's tough to compete against that team, and so for him to be able to get that 2nd place position, a really great job for him. So I say maybe I'll be able to have a chance to interview him, but definitely want to give him congratulations on his awesome run tonight. As we watch that number 1 car, looks like he's gonna kind of take a victory lap there in that number 1 machine. So we'll watch him as he goes around. However, we'll pull him in here while we watch him go around the track. All right, Gabe. So. I guess the first part of the race, obviously, all went to well for you, went to plan there, able to pretty much control the race for you. You say you were kind of in the lead, able to get the lead out of those pit stops and everything like that, and then able to lock up the most laps led as well. Kind of manual math, if you will, on that one. But then that tail of 2 races, we saw that 2nd part of the race there after that caution came out. And then the last part where the 6 of Bud Steele, he blew his motor. Saying that pretty much got everybody except for you and maybe like 3 or 4 guys behind you. I mean, how did you see that coming up in your mirror when that happened? I mean, take us through your thoughts there.
Yeah, after that last caution there with Bud, we were trying to figure out what we needed to do, and I knew Corey was going to push the hell out of me, so so maybe he could get a better position. So initially I was going to try and get down in behind Ray and push him on around, but I think Thomas may have had a little bit of splitter damage. So Corey was pushing me so hard, he just got me down in front of Ray, and Ray took it from there, did a fantastic job. Pushed me around to the win. Of course, the whole team did a fantastic job tonight. We had to make some serious moves there. That last quarter race, Everett and Corey and Bud and Thomas, of course, they were giving it sucks tonight. So
yeah, so they did that last restart. I wasn't sure if that 3rd lane was going to be able to form up by the end there, but they did, and like you said, they came on strong. But you like I said, you and Raymond were able to hook up on the bottom and keep that momentum going and kind of do what you guys do best, if you will, and be able to work together and get that get the lead, and then of course get that win there at the end. This will probably bring. I think you end up having a clean race through that one. So I feel like at this point, I want to say this will probably get you right, either tied or maybe even sneak a little bit ahead of Kevin Freeze. So It's going to be a pretty tight race, I think, between you two. Say that last, I want to say 4 or 5 races here when we come back from this winter break.
Yeah, it's going to be close after tonight's race. I think Kevin got caught up in that last one. But either way, I mean, we live as a team, die as a team. So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean that's a really good point like that you make. Is just again the unselfishness of you guys. We saw you and Raymond. You guys were able to hook up, and then on the outside line we saw Kevin. He was able to hook up with Eric, with Everett. So you guys are definitely making some moves there at the end.
Yeah, I mean we had to, but I mean all in all, it was a good race. Again, fellas nailed their pit stops for the most part, and you know, you have good pit stops, good things will happen.
Yeah, you definitely had that this evening. So I say before I let you go, so I definitely want to give you an opportunity. Any thanks, shout-outs you'd like to give for that win tonight?
A big shout out to Ray for that last push there at the end. He got me to win on that, and then the rest of the team, just a fantastic job as usual. Different times I had different pushers, or I had to push a few of the guys. Either way, just a fantastic job, and yeah, if you want for throwing this on, and of course yourself for broadcasting, and hope everybody has a nice Christmas. If we don't hear from you guys before then.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely enjoy the time off, Gabe. I'm sure you guys are ready for a little bit of a break. So enjoy time with family and everybody, and look forward to catching you not too far away in 2021.
Yeah, same here, bud. Thanks a lot.
All right, as you see that one backing across the start-finish line after he did some donuts there, saying was able to, looks like we do have the number 10 of Corey Lane, so we're going to grab him. So say he had an awesome finish there, just shy of the getting the win here tonight, but again, a really solid run for Corey in that number 10 machine. Say it's rare when you say you guys get the opportunity to kind of go against that team up front, say, but you did everything you could there at the end. You got to the outside, so you got the help you needed there, just couldn't quite get enough there to make it to the end, but I mean overall though still an awesome race for you, and so also of course just being able to be in contention at the end, because I know you and a couple other of those drivers were kind of caught in a bad spot when you kind of lost the draft kind of midway through the race there, so getting that second chance you were able to really make the most of it.
Yeah, at the start I was just sitting back for a bit, and then I just lost the draft at the end there, but that last caution saved me. I gained a lot of positions because I just got through it clean. Yeah,
I was saying that big wreck at the end. I'm trying to go back and like picture in my head with both Bud and everybody there that got caught up in that one. I want to say you were able to sneak through that one. I say maybe take us through your vantage point of that incident as well. And so I'm not 100% sure. Corey, hopefully I don't know if it's my connection. I've been hearing a little bit of echoes on my side, so I apologize if there's technical difficulties for me here.
Yeah, for me the voice is a bit broken up a bit.
Oh, okay. I was just asking if you take us through that last incident where Bud Steele, when he blew the motor, you were able to get through the wreck. I mean, are you able? What did you see from your point of view?
From my point of view, I just got lucky. I seen a bunch of smoke and cars going sideways, and I just kept going straight, and it worked out.
So that's all it takes sometimes. So I'll be brief. Unfortunately, say if I do have the connection issues, don't want to be a robot for you guys and everything. So, but that being said, though, Corey, definitely want to give you an opportunity here. Any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for that second place tonight?
Big thanks to Everett for giving me the push there and not leaving me dry. And thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast, and to Area 51 for doing the races.
All right, well, great run again, Corey. Say not sure what time it is over there for you. I know it's Monday, but not sure what time. So, definitely always awesome to have you here, be racing with us, and look forward to catching you here soon. But say before we do that, of course, hope you have a nice Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. It is 3:30 p.m. here. We're 19 hours ahead.
Oh wow, that's way more ahead than I thought it was. So, well then, have a good afternoon then, sir.
You too. Stay safe.
That is the number 10 of Corey Lane. So he's out in New Zealand, I believe. So that's the area difference between us. So getting the win tonight is Gabe Butler in that number 1 machine over Corey Lane. See just under 0.03 of a second between the two of them. Raymond Rittenauer in third, Everett Lane in fourth. And again, continuing that top 5 streak is that number 25 of Kevin Fries. And you got Joe McAdory in 6th, Eric Laurie 7th, Thomas Holder had a really good run. He brings it home in 8th, Charles Johnson in 9th, and Brandon Pasalacqua in the 10th position. '11th through 20th here you've got Kevin Hash, last car in the lead lap, but you see there, say only half a second off the lead there, so it just shows how tight things were. So unfortunately, some of those drivers caught up in that incident at the end. Matt Quick going to finish 12th, 1 lap down. You got Paul Fletcher, Bud Steele, Todd Merkel, and you got Will Eastman, Michael Spell, Brian Pierce, Jack Walls, and Dean Wilkinson rounding out the top 20. I'm gonna say now my stuff's not wanting to go away, so I'll say it's not letting me get to the second page there, but say 21st through 23rd, say Nicholas Winoka, unfortunately, in the 21st position in that 78 machine, and as I mentioned, 22nd, 23rd, Jude Conrad, Ted Decker Jr. actually wound up not gridding for tonight's event, so say they, I believe, will get scored in 22nd and 23rd respectively. So, however, with all of that, say again, of course, technical difficulties to finish things off here at the end. Again, really want to thank everybody for being a part of this one. I want to thank you all for a wonderful year. I say it's obviously been a challenging one for many, but definitely want to thank you all. Say we'll obviously be off for a little while before we come back after the Christmas and New Year's break. So until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Say enjoy the holidays as best you can. Say I'm definitely wishing you all the best. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And until January, though, of course, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and until next year, have a good night.